You will learn a beautiful piece of Zera Shimshon. This week's Parshas Vayera. It's about the Akedah. That about the Akedah we know is one of the greatest chusim that Klal Yisrael have, and it brings them a lot of Yeshuot and a lot of Sachar in this world. And that's what Rashi says in about the Akedah in Pasuk Vav. That's why it says Vayikach es ha'ma'acheles, that we use the word, the knife that Avram Avinu took for the Akedah Yitzchak is called ma'acheles. Rashi says the second pshat, because it's Yisrael oichlim b'schusoi, that because of that Klal Yisrael have tremendous Yeshuas and inyanim that are zeicha through the inyan of the Akedah Yitzchak. So we're going to learn about the Akedah Yitzchak, which begins with a very interesting beginning. The pasuk describes the time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had tested Avram Avinu and tells him to bring up Yitzchak as a carbon. So what does the pasuk say? The pasuk says, and it was after these things, Avram and HaKadosh Baruch Hu tested Avraham Avinu and told him, as it says, etc. Now, Rabbi said, what does it mean, Achar HaDvarim HaEles? If you learn the Parsha simply, and you see all the things that happened before, so you would say, oh, it has to do with those things. Achar HaDvarim HaEles, the story of making the bris with Avimelech, and other things that might be written over there. But it doesn't make any sense, really, because in that case, Rashi makes a whole cheshbon that happened all the 12 years before the Akedah Yitzchak. So how could you say that it's Achar HaDvarim HaEle? And also, those things don't really have any real reason to bring about something called Akedah Yitzchak. And if it's saying the Achar HaDvarim HaEle, it also means because of a certain things. So then, in that case, what is it going on? What does it refer to? So the Halakha Rashi tells us, B'Shem Chazal, it's a gracious Rabbah, Nun Hey Dalet, Gemara Sanhedrin, Peitas Amid Beis, that it brings Yesh Rabbi Seinu Oimrim. There are those of my rabbis who say it was Achar HaDvarav Shel Satan. Dvarim HaEle, the words of the terrible Satan. What's the Satan do? He's always mekatrik. He always has tinus on people. And what was he mekatrik? He said like this. There was a whole suit that Avram Avinu made for his son Yitzchak. B'yoyim higomel es Yitzchak. On that day, he made a tremendous suda and celebrated the birth of Yitzchak when Yitzchak stopped suckling, according to the Pasuk Shat. And he was still a young little bubale. He was just a little baby. And what did the Satan say? Wow, is this a big suda? And Mikol Sudas also Avram, for the great suda that Avram Avinu made, lo hikriv lefanecho, he didn't give in front of you par echo, or ayalecho, he didn't give you an ox or a ram in the Lashon HaGemara, so he didn't bring a tor or a geisel, he didn't bring even the cheapest carbon that he could bring for you. And he only thinks about celebrating and doesn't care about you. Amaloi, so Hashem answers to the Satan, Klum Asal B'Shvil B'Noi. You think, what did he do? All this whole celebration was because of his son. He's celebrating the birth of his son. Ilu Ayisi Aymaloi. If I were to tell him, Zabeach Oisei Lefana, he should slaughter that same son in front of me. Loi Hoya Me'akev, he would not hold back from doing so. So in other words, that was Hashem answering the words of the Satan, and because of the words of the Satan, so what does it say? And he tested him, and he says, okay, and bring him up as an oila. So Rabbi said, we have to understand something very important over here. And that is, okay, we explained just now how it fits into Achar Dvarim HaEle, because of Dvarim HaEle, all very nice. But now it doesn't make any sense. What is the sequence of events? When was the Satan Mekatrik? L'chayra, he was Mekatrik because of the Suda. It was Mekatrik because of the Suda, so that must have happened way before Yitzchak was now, by the time of the Akedah, 37 years old. So, when did that happen? It's like a long time ago. The time when Yitzchak was a little baby. That's the pashtus, right? And that's when he was mekatrig in that case. So how do you explain the miyad that it says in the Gemara v'lekim nizos Avram? How do you explain that it says achar hadvar me'elen according to many shittos in the Tanoim? Achar is samoch. When it says the word achar, not acharei, it means to say it's right after. Right after what? Right after the kitrug of the Satan. So mashma, let's lashon teres chaim over there in Sanhedrin Peites Amid Beis, and also the Maharsha speaks about it over there. Mashma that the Ma'aser Akeda was miyad achar dvarav shel Satan, and also because it's achar samoch, it must be it was miyad achar dvarav shel Satan. But it doesn't make any sense. He says the whole Suda that the Satan is talking about was way before when Yitzchak was 37 years old. So miyad achar Suda Omar Hochi, and that was way before. And the Teres Chaim lives with the kasha, and the Maharsha lives with the kasha. It's not simple to understand it. Elamai, we're going to go more with the tzad that the achar over here is not like every achar. It's vayi achar. Could be, and it could be like achrei, which is muflag. And then all we're trying to do is explaining the fact that because of the substance kitrug, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was testing Avram Avinu, so we don't have the kasha about the achar, but we still have a question that, well, the miyad of the Gemara for sure doesn't fit in, but we still have a question because the pashtus is that the Satan was mekatrig way before. And what, in that case, so what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu wait so long for in order to test Avram Avinu and to answer up the kitrug of the Satan? He should have done it way before. That is the big pella that's going on over here. So when was the Satan mekatrig? L'chayra pisvara, he was mekatrig right away after the Suda. And this Rabbi say is what the Zera Shimshon is aimed on so stark over here by us in the parsha. Right at the end, Ois Chav Vav. The last piece of Zera Shimshon in the parsha has this great question, he says, that Koshe, Lama Hintin, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu wait till this situation over here to tell him to be okay the Yitzchak, right? If the Kitrug was way before. And if you're going to say the Sultan was Mekatrik only now, the question is why did he wait till now? Says the Zera Shimshon, V'yesh Loimar, and one could say that Avade the Sultan was Mekatrik right away. So why? What's HaKadosh Baruch Hu waiting for? The Teretz is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a Moyudike Midah, a Moyudike character trait, Kavyochel, the way we see it, Midah, and the Midah is Erech HaPayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even if there's kindness in a person, he is Marich Af. He doesn't punish right away. And even with Rishayim, it brings a Gemara in Sanhedrin, Kufil Aleph and Aleph, that says Erech Apayim. It's written in a plural lashon to say L'Tzadikim, V'Le Rishayim. So in that case, it's very simple. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Marich Af, and the Satan was Mekatrik right away, and he continued being Mekatrik, like he always does by everybody. And from the time they sin till din is done with them, since until they meted out their judgment, and it was after the Arichas Af of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But still, it's very strange. Okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Marich Af, but why was he Marich so long Af? That is the big shaila. So the Zera Shimshon has over here a very original pshat that explains this thing, and the aside of this pshat, the foundation of the pshat is that it's going to be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited till such a time where the world will understand, and Avram Avinu will get to a situation where the Akedah is going to be a real Nisayan, and he's going to think for real that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you should slaughter your son, you should shecht him, and not just bring him up as a oila and just take him down, because then it wouldn't be a great Nisayan, obviously. So what is it? Why does it depend on this time? So the Zera Shimshon builds a beautiful yesod. He says, the Gemara in Sakkal Daf Beis Amud Aleph says that Arboim Yoim 40 days before a child is created, Baskol Yoitzes is a special Baskel that goes out in Shamayim and says, Bas Ploini Leploini, the daughter of this person is to this person. And Taisa says, it doesn't mention the actual name of the daughter, right, obviously. It says, not Ploinis Leploini, it says Bas Ploini, because we're talking about that the Baskel comes out before the Zohar is created, and it makes no difference whether the Nekeva is born or not born yet. It's still, this is what the Baskel says. So now he says, a beautiful cheshbon, since the Baskel came out, but goes out by everybody, so by Yitzchak, Yetziras Yitzchak, there was a Baskel that came out about his shidduch, which is going to say that he's going to get married to some girl over there, Bas Ploinis, Le Ploini. Im Kain, he says, it was misparsim, it became very famous, it became very known in Beis Shamala that Yitzchak is going to have a wife. In that case, it cannot be possible that he's going to be slaughtered on a Mizbeach. And what happens when it becomes known in Shamayim? There's a pasuk that says in Perel, Perek Yud, pasuk Chaf, that the Malachim, Oifa Shamayim, are called the birds of heaven, Ubal Knafayim, and those with wings, Malachim, are Moiliches HaKoil. They take that koil, that rumor, or that hoidah that they were heard, and they're mefarsimid, they make it known to Nevi'im, and people hear about it. So in that case, people could say, with this cheshbon, that, and also Avraham Avinu could think like this, that it won't be a sign for Avraham Avinu, because Avraham was a Navi, and he knew that Yitzchak is going to be getting married, so it can't be that he's meant to be slaughtered. In that case, what he did was just as if he made believe as if he's taking Yitzchak to slaughtering. And what kind of schus is this? And what's going to be? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Dafka did not want to do this Akedas Yitzchak in order to be Moidia to the world, the greatness of Avram, and in order that the Nisayin should be a real Nisayin for Avram Avinu. Because then you could say, no, because he knows that there's a Baskel. However, after many years passed, and Yitzchak is already 37 years old, and the Zivug did not come about yet, and everyone in heaven knows that she wasn't even born yet. So then suddenly one could say, and Avraham Avinu could think like this too, that yes, even though at the beginning there was a Baskel that he was going to get married, but it seems to be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to do something different now, and he now wants that Yitzchak should be slaughtered as an Oila, and that's why this daughter was never born yet, and also that's why the Shidduch didn't come about yet. And therefore the whole original Baskel went away, and now it becomes an Nisayin Gomor for Avraham Avinu. And he says, this cheshbon is a beautiful cheshbon. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited to the point where the world and Avraham Avinu himself will come to a matzav where it's a full-fledged, terrible Nisayin for Avraham Avinu to be oimed in it. He says, I have a proof to it, he says, that after Avraham Avinu comes back from the Akedah, that's when Be'emes Rivka was born, and he was told that Rivka was born. That means to say that the Baskel was re-mischadesh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought back the Baskel and said, Bas Ploinis Leploini, like Rashi says in Chumash, Bereshis Chav Beis Chav. So this is really what went on. There was a bittul of the Baskel in a way, and then there was this achidush of the Baskel, renewed the Baskel. So now it makes a lot of sense why HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited so long. And now when we finish with a beautiful word that the Zera Shimshon adds, and he says these words, that for the actual age of 37, the number 37 has a tremendous meaning legabe the point of the Akedah, because we know that the concept of Avraham being oiked Yitzchak, tying up Yitzchak and like being mishtalet and ruling over him and mastering over him, has to do with the inyan of chasadim that are goiver, that become stronger over the dinim, over the judgments, over the hardships which come through dinim, right? Why? Because Avram is a midah of chesed, Yitzchak is the midah of gevura, which is the Indian of dinim, and really the Indian of the Akedah, that's what it says in the Arizal and Sefer Kabbalah, was the Indian that Avram Avinu was magbir, he made stronger the koach of chesed over the gevura, and it was mamtik to dinim through that, which is tremendous. That's why through the Akedah comes tremendous Yeshuot, and like we said before, it's ma'acheles, it's machil klal yisrael, tremendous shefa. So all this has to do with Amtokas Adinim. So why is it after the age of 37? Now it's beautifully will be explained, because he says, the pshat will be this, that there are 37 times that Hashem is mentioned at the beginning of Brias Ha'olam, and he's called Elokim. Elokim is Lashon Din. And the 37th is the words B'yoyim Asayis Hashem Elokim. And what's Hashem Elokim? Hashem is Midas Harachim, Elokim is Midas Adin. And Rashi in the beginning of Bereshis says that it says Hashem Elokim to say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that since the world cannot exist only with Elokim, with Din, so we have to add also Midas Harachamim and also be Makdim and make stronger the Midas Harachim over the Midas Elokim, so it can mamtik the Dinim. So he says that is what the union of Akedas Yitzchak was, and therefore it fits so well in the fact that it is the 37th year of Yitzchak, because that's when B'yoyim Hashois Hashem Elokim, that's the 37th mention of HaKadosh Baruch Hu from Brias Ha'olam, which has the union of Amtokas Hadinim through the Rachmim being goiver over the din and being mamtikit. So Rabbi said we learned a tremendous amount about the union of the Akedah, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help, that we should be zoiche, that we should all have b'schus the Akedah, tremendous shefa, bracha, v'atzlocha, Amtokas Hadinim for God's Klal Yisrael, and we be zoiche to what it says at the end of the Akedah, Bahar Hashem Yeroeh, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu being revealing himself over the mountain of God, Emetz Hashem, over Har Bayis, B'binyan Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi, Beis Hamikdash Haleish, B'mheira, B'yameinu, Amen, V'chein, Yehi, Ratzain. Good Shabbos to everyone.